Okay, so welcome to this workshop on the 7 Habits of Highly Effective Students. So it's kind of adapted from, or it is adapted from the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. But real quick before we get started, if you would just go around and say your name and maybe what's one skill that you think a college student needs to be successful. So whoever wants to start.
I'll start. Just name first?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm Stacy Smith, and I think that a student needs to keep a planner.
Very good. For time management. Very good.
I'm James Walls, and an effective skill students need to have might be good attention span.
Yeah, good. Good focus.
Is that something you struggle with, James? Kind of, yeah.
Michael Reynolds, and I'm thinking study skills.
Yeah, very good.
I'm Jesse. Effective student needs to be able to create more opportunities than they are given.
Very good. Be a creator. Awesome. Yeah, those are all very important. So, I don't know if I introduced myself. My name is Jessie, the newest staff member of Project Stay. So thank you guys for joining me. So again, 7 habits of highly effective students. So the 7 habits are these. Be proactive, begin with the end in mind. Put first things first, think win-win. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. Synergize and sharpen the saw. So we're going to go through each of these individually and in a little bit more detail in the coming slides. Okay, so habit number 1, be proactive. And this is kind of like a visual of how the habits go. All of these, the first 3 are private victories and kind of start out at dependence. I don't know why this is so shaky. The second one, as you go into 4, 5, and 6, you cross over from independence into interdependence. And then number 7 is around the outside. Let's sharpen the saw. So,
The camera's noticed from sitting by you, Michael.
highly successful students are proactive. So they're proactive versus being reactive. Do you guys know what proactive means, or can you explain it? What it would look like to be proactive?
It's my understanding of it, if I'm wrong, I apologize, is being involved, actually, being ahead of it, not waiting till it comes to you, but creating it.
Yes, that's a really good explanation. So yeah, proactive people they eliminate problems before they happen. So they seek to, keep the problems from happening. Whereas reactive people, they deal with the problem after it's already happened. So proactive seek to keep the problem from happening. Reactive people seek to solve the problem after it's already happened. Being proactive also means to have a vision and a plan for your future. Take responsibility for your choices and to focus on what is in your control. Let's pull off. But how to be proactive in college? So how do I apply being proactive to my college career? Number 1, you can adopt a creator mindset. So kind of what Jessie said, you take responsibility for your choices, accept the consequences. You kind of adopt an internal locus of control, whereas you believe that you are the creator of your life and of your success and things like that. Whereas the external locus of control, you believe that things happen just by fate and luck, chance. So adopting a creator mindset, that's huge, just taking control of your future and believing that you have the power to achieve what you want to achieve. Also, get to know your professors. not only is this a good way to be proactive, but it's just, throughout college, you may decide later on that you want to go to graduate school, and sometimes you need letters of reference, things like that. So it's good to get to know your professors and build relationships with them so that, maybe someday they can write a letter of reference for you to get into graduate school. So
May I comment on that one as
yeah,
well?
yeah, absolutely.
The more you know your professors, as long as you have a good relationship with them, the more respect you're going to have, and that will actually increase your ability in class.
Yeah, absolutely. So just that, and you both kind of, you mutually benefit from it, and that's going to be another point that I make later on. But yeah, absolutely, and it creates that atmosphere of respect, and you're gonna hopefully put better work ethic and have higher standards for yourself throughout that course as that relationship continues to grow. Make attendance a priority. Most of success is attendance. I think I read a statistic, 90% is just showing up. 90% of success is just showing up. So make attendance a priority. And there's a correlation between attendance and grades. So, the more you're gone, the worse your grade's going to be typically. Typically that's the trend we see, but the more you're there, the better your grade's going to be. So attendance plays a big part. Develop social connections. So that kind of goes along with know your professors. Also develop social connections with your classmates, develop that mutually beneficial relationship with them. Utilize your campus resources. So, several things are available to you on campus. And most of the time you're already paying for them. Why not utilize them? Minimize procrastination. So proactive people try to minimize procrastination as much as possible. So getting things done ahead of time, prioritizing your tasks, things like that. So this kind of is a breakdown of the reactive language versus proactive language. So a reactive person would say, there's nothing I can do, whereas the proactive person would say, let's look at our alternatives. What are some other options that I have? That's just the way I am. Well, I can choose a different approach. Oh, he makes me so mad, but I control my own feelings. So, the proactive language is very much taking responsibility, knowing that you have a choice. You got to figure out what choice that is. All right, so on to step number 2, habit number 2, which is begin with the end in mind. All right, so highly successful students begin with the end in mind. So this means they have a clear understanding of their destination. You don't want to set out on a journey in a car knowing that you don't have enough fuel to get there, right? So, know what you need, kind of step by step, play by play on what you need to get to your destination. Play the tape through. So this basically means thinking ahead to what the consequences may be or what obstacles you may come in contact with along the way so that you can kind of anticipate those and plan for some setbacks. You most likely are going to have setbacks, but if you kind of play the tape through, you can anticipate those and hopefully be prepared for them when they do come. And then internal locus of control, so beginning with the end in mind, this kind of facilitates having an internal locus of control, which again was believing that you are in charge of your success. It doesn't happen by fate or chance or luck, that you kind of create it yourself. All right, so how do you apply beginning with the end in mind in college? You plan ahead. Stacy mentioned having planners. Those are very important for time management. So plan your time accordingly. You establish goals, so make goals for yourself. Hopefully the end result for most of you here is to graduate with a degree in the career field of your choice and to go on working in that career field. You identify, so before, this one kind of, it goes with before classes start, things like that. Identify your learning objectives. Look over come up with a plan on what you expect to get out of the class, or look over the objectives, in the book that you guys had to get for that class, and Identify what you're going to learn. Be prepared for that. Engage in career planning, so participate in job shadows. That's one of the reasons Project Stay offers job shadows, is because we want you to know what you're getting yourself into, and before you get too far along in your program and decide, this really isn't something I want to do. So, participate in job shadows early on and as often as possible, so that you can really get a good feel for, is this something I want to do? And then that last one, create a personal mission statement. So, examples of mission statements could be, I will arrive early for all my classes. I will do my best in all classes. I will be kind. Just things that you kind of want to live by and that you want to guide your career on. Any questions so far? If you guys have any questions or any comments, feel free to just kind of blur them out or stop me. One more thing I did want to mention on the beginning with the end in mind. You want to be, going back to like the traveling example that I gave you, you want to be the driver of your own car. You don't want someone else to, you don't want to take the back seat to your learning, your career. So, be the driver to your car. To get where you have to be if you want to get to where you are wanting to go. Okay, so habit number 3, put first things first. People do this by creating objectives and scheduling their priorities. They focus on tasks that bring the most return. So I can kind of relate this part to taking tests. A good test taking tip is to look through the test and see which questions you might have multiple choice, fill in the blank, true, false, short answer, essay. Obviously, you're probably going to spend the least amount of time on the multiple choice, the true, false, because those don't really take much time. But on the essay and the short answer, those are going to take a little more time, and they're probably worth a little more points. So you want to, kind of allot your time appropriately to each, whatever's going to bring, the more return. So you're going to spend more time on those essay questions because they're worth more points, things like that. So kind of, scheduling your time, breaking it into chunks to focus on what's the most important. Avoid time wasters. So, as much as possible, time wasters could be, watching TV, playing a video game, things like that. But still schedule fun time for yourselves. And this also plays into number 7, habit number 7, sharpen the saw. So, this isn't to say that highly successful students don't have fun, because they do. But they just know when that's appropriate and when it might not be. All right, so how to put things first in college. So, you, again, time management. Those time management skills are important. So, get a planner. Schedule your life 1 month at a time. Prioritize to prioritize your tasks and avoid procrastination. Right now in one of my classes, we're going through and they're writing down basically a 2-week schedule of what they do at each time. So, say from 8 to 12, they've got certain classes. 12 to 5, they work. 5 to 6 is dinner time. 6 to 8 is studying for their math class, their math test that's coming up, things like that. So those schedules like that are very detailed and specific can be pretty helpful. And it's found that people are more likely to stick to those things and do them if you have it written down and visible to the eye, somewhere that you can see it a lot, so you're constantly reminded. Putting first things first means being assertive, and just standing up for what you need to get done. So this could be, saying no if somebody wants you to go to a party but you have a test the next day that you know you really have to study for. So just be assertive, get organized, arrive early for class, read textbook chapters the day before they are discussed in class, study for exams 1 week in advance. These are just, again, some tips on how to put first things first. Arriving early comes with that attendance, making attendance a priority. So again, very, very important things. All right, habit number 4 is think win-win. So this means seeking mutual benefit in all human interactions. So this is basically the foundation for getting along with others. You want to view life as a cooperative arena instead of a, strictly competitive one. It's okay to be competitive, but in some areas it may not be appropriate. So, viewing college as a cooperative arena, realizing that success is not achieved at the expense of others. And then this kind of sums it up. It's not your way or my way. It's a better way, a higher way. So again, not thinking, somebody's a winner, somebody's a loser. This is more kind of gray thinking. I guess I could say it's not black and white where one person wins, one person loses. It's more of a, how can we both win and both succeed at this, both receive some kind of benefit from it. So how to think win-win in college. Develop healthy relationships with your peers and professors. So we talked about that a little bit earlier. Again, just really getting to know them and relate to them. Participate in study groups, which will benefit yourself as well as the people in the study group, and exchange successful strategies or helpful insight or experiences with other students. And hopefully you'll get the same back from them. You'll gain some stuff as well, so you both are winning. Okay, this one, again, habit 5, kind of cut off there, but it's the seek first to understand, then to be understood. So this one is all about really listening first of all. So active listening. When you actively listen to others, you listen to understand, not to respond necessarily. Listen to understand. You clear your mind and remain silent while that person's talking. You ask the person to expand or clarify when necessary if there's something you don't understand or something you are wanting to know more about. And you reflect their feelings or thoughts. Reflect back to them what you think you heard them say, and they'll tell you, yeah, that's it, you got it, or no, this is kind of what I meant. Display empathy. So I'm a counselor. Throughout my entire master's program, it was all about listening, and developing that empathy for somebody else's viewpoint. So just walking in their shoes, empathy is seeking to understand what they're going through, even though you may not have been through that same situation. Whereas sympathy, is just kind of feeling bad for them. So really try to develop that empathy, walk through their shoes, listen to them. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. We're supposed to listen more than we speak. So how to do this in the classroom? In your classes, remain silent, clear your mind, clear your desk of distractions such as cell phone, homework from other classes, things like that, so that you can really put all of your focus into the class you're in. Expect to hear something of value. So if you tell yourself, I'm going to hear something really good, something that's really beneficial, you'll listen more closely and get more benefit out of the class. So kind of hype yourself up for that. Expect to hear something of value. Reflect your instructor's ideas to confirm the accuracy of what you've heard. So, after your instructor is done talking about a certain topic or subject area, raise your hand and say, am I getting this right? Is this what you're meaning? Things like that. And again, that will help build that rapport with that professor as well. As we talked about, building that healthy relationship with your instructors. Ask questions and request feedback. So if there's something you need to be clarified, ask questions. And if there's something, if you get a paperback and you don't understand why you missed some points, request more feedback. And change your perspective. So again, active listening is all about, again, understanding what the other trying to understand what the other person is conveying. We may not hear what they're really trying to say. Or they may be saying something that we take offensive, but they're not intending it to be offensive, things like that. So, trying to alter our perspectives to really understand the true meaning of what they're trying to get across. Which again goes back to asking them as well, saying, I think this is what I'm hearing, is that correct? So just to keep an open mind when you're talking with others. All right, has anyone seen this before? This picture? Okay, what do you guys see? I'm interested. What do you guys see in the picture?
Person in a costume looking away from us.
Okay. A woman,
Mm-hmm.
kind of turning her head. Anybody else see anything different?
It was like a ghoulish old woman.
Yes. Does anybody see that?
Oh, right.
Yeah. An older woman. So the woman that you're seeing.
Mhm.
Sorry, I don't know what's your name.
Jack.
Jack. The woman that you're seeing, she's kind of younger. Would you describe her as younger?
I guess, as opposed to old, yeah.
So the woman that Stacy and James are seeing is probably how old?
80.
Pretty old. Anybody seeing it yet?
I see that, I'm trying to see the other.
You see the old woman?
Yeah.
Trying to see the younger woman? Jack, do you see the old woman?
No.
No?
What am I supposed to be looking for, I guess? I see
Okay.
a nose, I see what I think is an ear that could also be an eye. I'm trying to make an eye in the old woman on that one, but.
You gotta
Oh.
think of the face. It's over there.
I
It's the
see it
shawl,
now.
And then
Well, I see the jawline, I think, yeah, but I still don't see this old woman.
So for the old woman, this would be the mouth.
Oh.
This is the
God,
nose.
dang it.
And you're right, this was the eye. You guys see both of them now?
Yeah.
See, so, and then of course, you've got the younger woman kind of looking away. And they both have, some kind of headdress on, things like that. But, so that just kind of demonstrates how you can see something different than somebody else. And how it can be the same image, yet there's two different perspectives of the image. So again, just, being open to what that other person might be saying. Keeping an open mind, trying to change your perspective, alter it to see what somebody else is seeing, to really get them, So, that's a pretty cool picture. I saw the young woman at first, and it took me forever to see the older woman. But.
Is that because I'm narrow-minded, or I really struggle to take in other people's perspective?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. So.
There's hope for me.
It was just at first glance, whatever comes to mind, and then it's hard to unsee that image and try to see something else. But yeah, that was just to demonstrate how two people can be looking at the same thing but see two completely different things. So moving on to habit 6. Habit 6 is synergize. And basically synergize is a fancy word for interdependence in a way. So synergy means that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. So a team is better than just one person. Interdependence. I love this little picture to kind of portray what interdependence is. So, of course, the dog could not, jump up there and drink out of the water, push the button on the water fountain and get a drink at this, by himself. He needed the child to push the button while he gets a drink. So, two are better than one. A whole team of people are better than one. So interdependence is that collaborating with others on a goal. And so synergy values differences, respects them, builds on strengths, compensates for weaknesses. So interdependence is kind of what, I guess kind of the best relationship. There's codependent, dependent, independent, and then interdependent. And depending on your viewpoint, a lot of, in my class that I'm teaching right now, it talks about interdependence is what kind of the best one relationship area to be in. And so that's, kind of the end goal type thing. So interdependence in action. This is I took this also from my class book. So this is a little story. So this guy, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to tell it word for word exactly, but this guy was given a glimpse of hell, and he saw, fancy feasts. Everybody was, he saw the fancy feast, things like that, thinking, oh, this isn't that bad. But everybody in hell was looking kind of, what's the word? Like, real skinny, famished, maybe. And he was then told that the people in hell did not have, their elbows could not move, so they could not eat the food that was before them, okay? So then they go to heaven. And in heaven, he kind of sees the same thing as far as the feast. They have, fancy feast, things like that. But the people in heaven are well fed, look good, things like that. So the difference is that the people in heaven also, their elbows could not move either, so they could not feed themselves, but everybody was feeding each other, and so that kind of displays interdependence. They were working together, to eat the food. So I like this quote: individually we are one drop, but together we are an ocean. And again, that just embodies that interdependence. We can do a lot together, because each of us maybe bring, a certain skill that that nobody knows how to do to that certain area. And so together we are better than just one. So how do you apply this synergy aspect in college? Create a support network. Avoid being codependent or dependent on others. So the support network could be made up of your professors, classmates, people, family, people in your family life, friends. But develop a good support network where you are interdependent and not just independent. If you're independent, you might not necessarily be open to letting others in and helping you do something. So, seek that interdependence. Seek help from your instructors. Again, ask questions. Seek help from your college resources, such as, the ACTS office, Student Success Center, the tutoring, the Career Center, the Health Center, the library. Utilize all those resources that are available to you. And start a study group. Be proactive and start a study group early on. Before, a proactive person will start a study group at the very beginning of the semester, before any problems arise or before a really low grade comes about, whereas the reactive person would only start a study group, once they received a bad grade and needed to get that up. Okay, and then habit number 7, which is, again, sharpening the saw, and it's the circle that goes around that whole little matrix. So habit 7 is all about self-care and renewal. Habit number 7 makes all the other habits possible because you're taking care of yourself. You're investing in yourself. So basically, there are several different areas of self-care, and I've got it in this picture up here. It's kind of hard to see, but there's the physical, taking care of yourself physically, psychological, mentally, emotionally.
Is it the 7 dimensions of wellness?
Yes, except this one only has 6. Because
Alright.
I think the seventh one is intellectual, and I don't think that one's on here. But yes, it's basically the same thing. So physical, psychological, emotional, spiritual, personal, and professional. So taking care of yourself in all of these areas is very important. And invest in yourself. It's the only instrument we have to deal with life. So really take time to take care of yourself. Realizing your mission statement, as we mentioned in an earlier habit, was to create the mission statement. So your mission statement could be, I plan to take care of myself daily, and enforcing that. So how to sharpen the saw in college. Basically, establish a balanced lifestyle. College students have a lot on their plates: work, school, family, other extracurricular activities. So find a good balance, and this is where a planner could come into handy, and a weekly or a monthly calendar. So schedule your time well, find a good balance. Commit to engaging in weekly self-care. So schedule self-care for yourself, whether that be, on a Wednesday evening, going to take a walk on the trail, or exercise, doing some other form of exercising, going to the gym. If you like to listen to music and take a hot bath, or this is where your hobbies could come in. Playing video games, walking your dog, doing crafts. Commit to doing that once a week, just so you can kind of give yourself a refresher and get back, so you don't overwhelm yourself and cause that stress. Challenge your intellectual abilities. So, constantly seek out new opportunities to gain more knowledge and insight. Teach what you have learned to somebody else. That can be very empowering, and makes you feel good to be able to teach somebody else something. And as well, take from other people, take what they have to offer, and store that in your intellectual storehouse.